Want more Marvel? Digging DC? Looking for the latest in nerd news? We got it all and more. This is
Distance Nerding.
We're talking about anything pop culture, movies, music, food, wrestling, whatever you're nerding out on, we want to talk about it. The Distance Nerding podcast celebrates all things you nerd out on. More nerd news, less nerd negativity. Each week, join young Phil and John Mez 5000 as they discuss what's new in the nerd world and get your voice heard in the Facebook group, The Distance Nerdington Post. Grab some tacos, hold on to your butts, and strap in for the ride. You are now listening to Distance Nerding.
What is up, Kyber Cave family? I am Xcala, and this is my personal cave. This is my house right here. Well, I am not at the Kyber Cave right now. We should I'm hoping by next week we will be doing this show from the Kyber Cave. We're just getting that all set up, getting all the internet and everything set up. So hopefully that will be handled soon. Does it look weird? I can see the computer glare on my glasses, but then I think I look weird without glasses, huh? Yeah. So a lot of amazing things happening. If you guys have been keeping up in the Saber world, there's a lot of new Sabers coming out. I'm seeing different Saber companies starting to come up too, and some very, very original designs. We are still looking good. We just got our material in. We spent $1,200 on aluminum for our Sabers. So these will be the hilts and the different parts on this. So we just got that shipment in, and we will be, hopefully, we're going to be on track for getting our Sabers out by October. So that is very, very exciting. August 14th, too. August 14th, Kyber Cave is teaming up with Waterfront Comics in Sassoon here, and we are going to be helping out with Free Comic Book Day. So Free Comic Book Day starts at 11 a.m. and goes all the way till the end of the store closing that day. But from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m., Kyber Cave is going to be there at Waterfront Comics. We're going to have a costume contest, so we encourage you to come out in costume. Not only can you wait in line and get free comic books, but you can get your picture taken. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take pictures of all the people that want to enter the contest, so it's not at just one set time, it's throughout the day. And then that evening, all of the contestants, from 10 to 2, it's going to be cut off at 2 o'clock. But then that evening, all the pictures will go up on the Facebook page for Kyber Cave and for Waterfront Comics. The next day, the judges will choose the winner. And then on that Monday, the winners can come into Waterfront Comics and collect their lightsaber. That is right. Kyber Cave is giving away sabers. We are giving away sabers to the contest winners. Hello, Paul. Colin, what is going on, my friend? Colin, I want to apologize to you. Life has been absolutely hectic, so I know I've seen you message. I just haven't had time to get to those. But we are excited. Thank you guys for tuning in. So August 14th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Sassoon, California. Come on out. We'll be giving away prizes, giving away T-shirts, Kyber Cave T-shirts, keychains, lightsaber chopsticks, and then, of course, like I said, the grand prize winners for the holy goodness. There's a stormtrooper. That's right. We keep COVID safe even in the house. So what are the rules for out of state? No cars for this digital pics. Oh, you know what? That's a really good idea. I didn't think about opening it up online as well, but possibly we'll do that. Possibly we'll do that. So let me talk to the owners of Waterfront Comics and see if we can open this online. Maybe we'll just do a special division that's just people online. But yeah, that's really cool. Thank you. Cheers on giveaway. I'm doing one as well. Hey, doing one as well. Giveaways are fun. Thank you for working hard. What kind of giveaway are you doing? We are always here at Kyber Cave. We are happy to promote our other companies, especially the ones that work in the Saber cosplay industry. Even though, we may sell exactly or similar products, I see us all as, there's enough for everybody. So if you are another Saber company and you think you might want to be interviewed, or you have a product or a giveaway that you want to tell us about, please let us know here at Saber Rattle, and we will get that word out there. So our guest for tonight, amazing guest. But before we do that, I'm talking about our guest by way to tell you about our flow of the show. Our guest tonight is the producer for our flow of the show segment, which I'm very excited about. We've been running this segment since about January, and it's one of our most popular features. But Mr. James Kiser, he is an OG in the Saber industry, especially in flow. He is somebody that a lot of people know under the name Darth Cephalus. He brings us an incredible artist every week to show us a demonstration on flow. And tonight is very exciting because it's different than how we usually do it. What we're doing tonight is we have amazing, talented artist Christian Castro. And instead of just doing a demo, he's actually going to teach you how to do a trick. So if you want to be as cool as Christian Castro, you might want to watch this video. So, Miss Director Person, roll that film.
Hello Saber enthusiasts, I'm Chris with the Saberflux workshop, and today we're going to learn how to do a halo. Now, just a quick note, in order for you to follow along and do these moves, you need something called a contact saber or a contact sword, which basically is a lightsaber with the balance point on the handle. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a halo. So hope you find this video useful. If it does help, let me know in the comments. Let me know if there's any other tutorials you'd like for me to try to make. And if you're wondering where I got this piece of awesomeness, well, I make them myself. I build them from scratch. I got a little shop. You can check it out at www.saberflux.com. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for watching, and may the force be with you.
Christian Castro. Woohoo! That was really cool too, because you actually learn how to do a trick. Most of the time you just get to see all of these fabulous things happening in front of you. But that was Christian Castro. He is the owner of Saberflux Workshops. What is super cool about the Saberflux Workshop, you may see some of these other saber companies that are designing sabers, but he is actually designing them from a place of using them. Because flow and contact sabering is what he does, he knows exactly what he needs to make a proper balance on the saber. And as you saw, I mean that saber was like butter flowing across his arms. So make sure to check out Christian Castro, www.saberfluxworkshops. If you have any questions, you can contact him directly. He's a super cool guy. So that brings us to the amazing, fabulous, incredible producer who introduced us to Christian Castro. He is the producer of the Flow of the Show segment here every single week. You don't see him on camera because he's a busy man. And after this interview, you're going to understand why. This is actually our second time interviewing him. I want to say he was, if not our first show, our second or third show. And this is when we had, not the first show, because the first show was me interviewing Gary Ripper. But I want to say he was the second show. I think he was Gary's first interview. So we haven't, well, and then we've had James on another time as a fill-in. But you don't often get to see this man's amazingness, and his talents touch many, many different territories. So I'm just going to stop babbling right now. I'm going to bring him on and let him tell you about some of the amazing things. So with no further ado, Mr. James Kiser.
Hey,
what's up, Daddy?
How's it going?
How are you doing tonight?
Oh, well, I'm doing. It's brutally hot here in Oregon, but otherwise fine. I think half our state's on fire right now, but that's
right. Well, welcome to California 10 years ago.
or like every year. I'm from California, so I'm used to that fire too.
Right. Yeah, everything that's happened in California, like that we got 10 years ago, is starting to trickle over the last few years up north. So it's just, I feel for you, man. So, hey, so when we had you on here the first time, Gary was actually doing the interview with you, and he talked a lot about your flow, which you're an amazing flow artist. I didn't even know at that time all of the amazing things that you do. You do saber reviews. You have a saber review channel. When it's not just sabers, you talk about a lot of the things in the saber industry, because you'll talk about ripper blades as well.
And sound fonts recently.
Was that?
And sound fonts recently too. I started doing those.
Excellent. And sound fonts as well. So it's a really great channel. I've actually tuned in and watched many different episodes. I really like how you're methodical about breaking things down, and you talk about, you answer a lot of the questions that I would have if I was to not be able to hold a saber, but I want to know, how heavy is it, and how does it actually feel. So your channel is absolutely amazing. But on top of that, you also make holocrons, which are simply gorgeous. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to have my set of holocrons. And then you also own a video business as well. So you're just all over the place.
Yep. So I long ago figured out that if I ever want to have a break in life, I have to do so many things that when I cut back to a normal number of things, it feels like a break. So it's kind of this level of overworking to the point of self-deception. That's sort of my bag. But yeah, so I'm of the various things I do flow arts, not just with LEDs. I do it with fire as well, occasionally with steel. I have a video store, as you mentioned, of a dying breed. We have even some VHS tapes floating around, but these days we actually have the second largest video store in Oregon, which is saying something considering that I'm in a relatively small town. I do on my channel, I do flow videos. I also do reviews. I also do tutorials, a lot like Christian just showed you guys. And if you guys want to see more tutorials, then by all means, let Van know. He'll pass that along to me, and I'll see if I can find you some more tutorials. But I started off actually doing tutorials and flow videos, and then I got into the review stuff. And the review stuff is probably the most popular thing that I do. Beyond that, a lot of people, when they watch my videos, they say, "Oh, you're so organized with the stuff that you do, and you're so used to talking to people." And that's my day job. So when I'm not doing all the nerdy Star Wars stuff, I'm actually a college professor. So I teach writing and literature, and so I'm used to talking to people and trying to break stuff down. And I'm in the 501st Legion. I have probably it might be boastful of me, but I think I have the second best Revan in the Legion. I also have 2 versions of Darth Nihilus and RC Republic Commando Niner. I'm working on a Kylo Ren and a TK Stormtrooper. So I've got a few costumes. I'm actually doing an event with the 501st tomorrow. So my Revan's going to be out and about at an Asian celebration in Eugene.
Wow.
And
Now I know you're a huge Nihilus fan, but to say you have the second best Revan, that's a tall claim there, my friend. Revan's a very popular character now.
He is, and there's a lot of Revans floating around. But when you get into cosplay has so many different levels to it. There's go out and get yourself a Halloween costume and put the plastic mask on, and then there's scale up a little bit and get something from Amazon or maybe something from Xcloser that looks good. And then there's, as you get further up, there's those people who look at that Xcloser one that anybody or most people would see that at Halloween and go, "Oh, that's an awesome costume. That's premium. Looks like it's right out of the movie."
Right,
But
right.
those guys up there that are like, "No, that helmet detail does not look like that in the movie.
Right.
It's gray and not black, and that's the wrong fabric weave." And so when
Right.
you get into like the 501st, then those are the guys that are like, "That's the wrong fabric weave, and it needs to hang just this way." And
Right,
like
right.
the Kylo Ren
Gonna be
approval
2
is
inches
going to
from the
be
collar.
yeah, the Kylo Ren approval is going to be interesting because they crack down on every single detail of a Kylo Ren, like the size of the pleats and the coating on the sleeves and the type of fabric and the way everything hangs. And so I'm in that world as well. The RC9er is probably the hardest one to wear around because it's full Republic Commando body armor. And I don't want to spoil anything if people aren't up to date on their Bad Batch, but Republic Commandos, bring it
Right.
on.
Woo-hoo.
So, so yeah, I do that. And then the other thing this is I make some coins occasionally, but I also run DC Holocrons, which I
Yes.
started out just figuring, I've got this. Let's see, I'll just see the show. Okay, yeah. So that one's more for you, but yeah. So I started out.
No, I think that was for you. He wants to see your show, I think.
I said he wants to be on the show. Be on your show.
Oh, be on your show. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's at you. But yeah, so the DC Holocrons, I started out because I got into 3D printing, and I thought my first thing that I looked at when I looked at 3D printing is holocrons. I've always been just sort of enamored of the idea of holocrons.
Yes.
It's an underplayed part of Star Wars mythology that has just gotten sort of swept under the rug with new canon. But there's so much fascinating stuff, and it's like the main plot device in a lot of Legends era Star Wars. So just a brief catch up for anybody who's not familiar. When Disney and LucasArts took over and they sort of erased a lot of the Star Wars history, everything that they didn't keep has gotten funneled into Legends. So Legends is where a lot of the stuff like Nihilus and Revan and like holocron lore, that exists in Legends. You're going to see holocrons in the main series, but not as much as you saw them in Legends. So I started out 3D printing, and I thought, I'm gonna 3D print some holocrons, and I did, and people liked them. And so I switched up my design and customized things around a little bit and printed some more, and people liked them. And so I made some for some people, and it just sort of took off from there. And these days I've got 50 some odd different models of holocrons floating around.
Wow.
I'm sort of in love with the idea of holocrons because when you see them in the movies and you see them in the cartoons, they just sort of pop up and they're like, "Oh, it's a flash drive for Sith Lords and Jedi Masters." But within the Legends canon, there's so much richness to them because it's only masters can make them, and they contain a part of your essence, and they're basically the only way that you have a legacy of the Sith is through
Right.
holocrons. Without holocrons, you have no Sith.
Right.
Which is why when you see them in things like Knights of the Old Republic, they become so important. So I was looking for holocron props, and it was the same 2 holocron props. It was the one blue Jedi one, and it was
Right.
the triangular Sith one, just over and over and over again. And so I thought, I'm gonna go somewhere with this. And so I took the characters in Star Wars Star Wars Legends rather, who I thought would have holocrons, and I designed holocrons that were themed after them, so that now I've got like
Yes.
mod. And so, like for instance, here's my holocrons have crystal inserts. So some of them are like organic crystals, and some of them are lattice crystals or synthetics. But the crystal provides the power
Nice.
for the holocron. So this was my Nihilus design right here, which has a triumvirate logo on the top and then a sort of swirly pattern with a Sith logo in the middle.
Right. That swirly pattern makes me feel like he's eating a planet.
That was the goal. Yeah, here, let me see if I can. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so it's a swirly circuit board sort of thing. And so this was my first design, and it's still my most popular design. And I'm a big Nihilus fan, so that's where I started. And that took off, and now I've got pretty much any holocron that I can think of actually existing, I've made.
Right.
Most of them are on my site. So like here.
And that's why I was excited about your holocrons. I've seen other people online or like Etsy that had holocrons, but what I felt was cool about yours was I felt like they were more accurate to the individual characters. And in fact, I believe, well, you have, and this is what I'm excited for us to work on, is you have a Sith line. And what I like is that you don't just do, a holocron for anyone. You actually research the different Sith lords to understand who actually had a holocron, and to try to understand what kind of knowledge their particular holocron would have, so that it influenced the way you designed your holocron. Your holocrons are gorgeous.
Thank you. But yeah, that's part of my process. I go in there, and if it actually says that they have a holocron, I try to find out if there's visual reference. And if there is, I try to make something that's inspired by, but not exactly the visual reference. Like this is Quinlan Voss's holocron right here. That's one of my more recent ones. But I try to make something inspired by the visual reference. And if they don't have a visual reference, I look at the character and I try to base it off of the design for the character.
You got a question right there, in fact.
Yeah, a lot of detail in there. Is it a 3D printed design? It's 3D printed design. Part of the idea of holocrons in Legend is that they're a crystal lattice. So all these like nice shiny holocrons that you see out there that look like a single piece of crystal,
right?
I think that the 3D printing is a more legitimate way to do it, because 3D printing with extrusion actually creates a lattice. So this isn't a crystal; it's a lattice, or it's made out of a crystal lattice, which is how they're supposed to be made. But yeah, so if there's reference, I go by the reference, and if there's not, but it says that a holocron exists, or I think that a holocron should exist, I base it off of what I know about the character. Like for instance, this is the one right here. This is the holocron of Keleth and he's a minor character in Old Republic, but he's kind of a Sith Lord who, a lot of Sith Lords, like some of them pop over and become Jedi, like Revan, and then pop back over and become Sith Lords. Keleth was a Sith Lord who never became a Jedi, but he started preaching that instead of strength, Sith should look for peace as a path to power. And so he took Jedi teachings and he tried to strengthen the Sith with them, as opposed to popping over and becoming a Jedi. And he's really the only one who did it like that. And so his holocron, I actually took like the Jedi design and I made it a triangle. So I triangulated it, turned it into the panels for this. And then the bottom right here is based off of the Jedi wings and the Sith star. So I take the iconography of a Jedi influenced Sith design and I turn it into a holocron, and then you pop a crystal in it, and there you have it.
That is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
But But yeah, I'm pretty proud of them, and I think most of them you can find on my site, except for this guy right here. This is the Darth Plagueis one. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
This one's kind of a unicorn of the holocrons. It only happens on special ready-to-ship sales that I do from time to time. So this is
really?
my this is the one I sort of keep close to my vest. But this is Darth Plagueis. This design is inspired out of the Book of the Sith. There's a
Right.
thing that he has about midi-chlorians, and I inspired that design based off of that. But yeah, so that's a lot of what I do. And the other things, I get goofy on there sometimes. Like this was my first crossover. This is the Holocron of Cthulhu. Oh, you lost me.
Oh, yeah, there we are.
Here we go. So let me fire up the Holocron of Cthulhu. There we go. Tentacle pattern, elder sign.
I think, didn't you make Gary Ripper a Batman one?
I did. Yeah, he's got a Batman one. Here's a Zelda.
Oh, wow. Oh, I know a
And,
lot of people that would love a Zelda holocron.
Yep. And
Somebody's asking how much do they run for? I need a Jedi for my film.
So the Jedi's usually around 35-ish for a Jedi. The Sith are closer to 30, 20, or 27 to 30, something in that neighborhood. Some of the more deluxe Jedis, some of my Jedis are pretty standard. Some of them have internal parts.
Oh, wow.
And so the ones with internal parts cost a little bit more. I mean, this is like, what is this? 6 times 3 is 18, 19. This is about 20 pieces right here.
Oh, wow.
Or put together. But yeah, so those can run up to 50, but somewhere between budget around 30 to 50 for a Jedi.
All right. Well, he says he needs 5 of them. I'm sure you can work him out of a deal if he's getting 5.
I'm sure I can manage that. I just made, I've got like 20 of them ready to ship out Monday, and I made like 3 or 4 more today. But
are you now, as things are shifting with Disney, like for instance, you have like a Wayfinder, which is, very similar. Oh, so you got a little something for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my Wayfinder is an original design, so it's inspired by theirs, but it's not exactly theirs. So I try to, for the most part, I try to stay in the good graces of the copyright, though I'm sure they can make me stop using the word holocron if they want, in which case I'll have to find something else to call them. But my designs are usually different enough so that I don't get in trouble.
Right.
But, yeah, here's one of my new ones. This is a Norse themed one. Somebody asked me about this, and so I made this with Norse grand staves.
Oh man, dude! I can tell you right now, the director, Phoenix, she would go crazy for a Loki themed holocron.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she would. Yeah, this is kind of a this little symbol right there is.
That is so incredible.
Sort of the dark side of Norse cosmology, and then that's the light side. But yeah, so I try to do my research. I don't make a holocron unless I know what the iconography means, why it's there, and it makes sense to me.
Right. Hey, and Stephen and Zachary, we're going to get you that link and all the addresses at the end of the interview. I'll make sure Mr. James here gives out all his information. I'm not going to let him get away without telling you how to track him down. But yeah, we will be doing that at the end of the interview. So so you do the holocrons. Do people ever ask you and call you and say, I would like a holocron that's, I don't know, a Lord of the Rings inspired? Can you do custom? Do you get creative enough to think about something for custom customers?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I make Saber stands as well, and that's where most of the custom work comes in. But for the most part, any holocron that people might ask me for, I'm already making. But yeah, I do custom stuff. I think that Legend of Zelda one came out of a custom request that I turned into a production model.
All right.
But, yeah, people can contact me, and we generally can work something out. but yeah, I have an organized way to do custom saber stands, but a less organized way to do custom holocrons, because it's never really clear what people can want or what people want. A lot of what people ask for kind of defies the laws of physics, and that makes it a little bit harder to figure out.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to make an order form or a sheet, when you have something that has that much detailing in it.
Hmm. Yeah, and I've got, well, that said, I have a lot of people. I have one that's a Hellraiser themed holocron, and
Ooh.
the picture that I have of that has it on a magnetic levitation platform, sort of spinning around. And so
Oh my
I do
God.
have people say, I want that. And I'm like, well, I can make you the holocron, but that's my display.
Right. Wow. Wow, that is amazing. Someone is asking, Steven's asking, do you build sabers? And
Um,
that, well, you know what? That's a great segue into other things. Let's talk a little bit about your YouTube channel. And you are one of the this is, I guess, another way to say old. You're an old man, but you are one of the OGs of the saber community when it comes, especially to flow and contact sabering, but just sabers in general. You have a fantastic saber collection yourself, and you know a lot about the different companies that are out there. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
yeah. So my experience with sabers, I started getting into them for fitness purposes. Always a big Star Wars nerd, of course. So that was the place where it met. But I'm not the kind of guy who's like going to go out and go to a gym or something like that. So what I decided to do was I needed to get some fitness regime going, and so I started out getting into lightsabers for the purpose of use. And from there, I got into the collector's market and found all these other wonderful things that are going around. But my basic emphasis has always been on the usability of sabers. And there weren't a lot of people doing that. I mean, anybody who's going to tell you to buy a Graflex is not looking at usability, because that's Graflexes suck to try to use. They just
Right.
absolutely terrible things with pointy activation boxes. So I set out to sort of help people figure out, okay, well, what do you want your saber to do? Because everybody always kept asking, um, what's the best saber to buy? Who's the best saber company? And there's no answer to that.
Right.
People like to throw out answers, especially people who make lightsabers like to throw themselves out as the answer. But
Right.
there's no answer to that. So I started to try to get these videos going that would help people understand. I actually have a really popular one called "Now that you have a lightsaber, or you have a light, or so you have a lightsaber. Now what?"
Right.
And it's about, okay, so what do you want? Is it going to sit on the shelf and be a shelf queen? Are you going to turn it on and wow people, or do you want to use it as a costume piece? In which case, you're going to be carrying it around. Now you got to worry about battery life. Now you got to think about day blades. Now you got to figure out how it's going to attach to your belt. Or
Right.
are you going to use it for sports? Or are you going to duel with it? And a lot of people are like, oh, I'm absolutely going to duel with it. And of those, maybe 30% are actually going to duel with it.
Right.
So
Right.
if you're actually going to duel with it, then there's other things that come into play. Now you got to think about, well, do you want base lit or do you want NeoPixel?
Right.
Button going to look like? How easy is it to push? If you're going to perform with it, what's the weight and the balance like? And so I try to keep all of these things in mind. And whenever I review a saber, I try to attack it from all of those angles. Is it pretty? Does it look good on the shelf? Will it work as a
Right.
costume? Does it represent a character? Can you use it?
Right.
And if so, how well does it do any of these things?
Right. Yeah, I think that's one of the things. When you come into Kyber Cave, when we have a storefront, and somebody starts asking about sabers, that is absolutely the first thing I start asking them, which I think is what sets us apart from some of the other saber companies. When you're ordering online, is the first thing I want to know is what you're going to be using this for. Because if this is strictly for cosplay, you want something that's movie accurate. But if you're going to be going to TSL, or even if you're going to Lightspeed or one of these sport competition leagues, you're going to want a completely different saber. If you're doing flow or contact, you definitely don't want a Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader a saber or something with a big box hanging out of the side. You
Yeah,
want
try doing
a
that move Christian showed you with a Graflex and see how it goes.
yeah, and I don't think it'll be quite as easy.
But
So
yeah,
yeah, I think it absolutely makes all of the difference in the world When I think sometimes people think about sabers and they think it's very simplistic, but they don't realize, you're just stepping through the door into this whole bigger world.
Yeah, I like to consider that getting a lightsaber is a lot like trying to figure out what car to get. If somebody who doesn't know you tells you that they have the answer as to what car you should get, they don't.
Right.
That's completely wrong. Maybe if they know you really well and they know what you're going to do with that car, they can help you figure it out. But otherwise, you got to ask some questions. Where are you going to go with it? How often are you going to drive it? How many people are going to be riding in it? That sort of thing. So you sort of feel out, well, what do you want a lightsaber to do? And that's what my my emphasis is on reviews. And I get a lot of flack from people about stuff because I will like take on the newest darling of the industry, like when NeoPixel came out. I mean, NeoPixels these days, I mean, they're okay. They're still not the end all be all absolute answer to everything. And anytime I say that, it's like a lightning rod of hate. But because everybody's like, no, I have my Neo. It's the way to go. Never going back. It's like, well, I've broken blades by losing grip on a saber and throwing it into a street lamp. So if I do NeoPixel and the blade breaks, I'm out $100 instead of 10.
Right.
So
I will say I have recently, and I would say within the last 4 months, I've gotten my first NeoPixel. I've been around sabers for 3 years. This is my first NeoPixel. I definitely love my NeoPixel, but I have a couple of sabers that are specifically for combat. I don't know. I think, a good old fashioned LED, I much more prefer it. There's a lot less stress to worry about. However, I'm rethinking things because Bendu's got that lifetime warranty.
Yeah, like I said, the NeoPixels have come a long way, but there used to be not quite so much variety in that market. These days, a NeoPixel that comes with like an LGT saber is a different creature from a NeoPixel that you get from Vader's Vault or you get from Bendu Armory. So one of those ones from Bendu Armory, not the KR ones, but the cheaper ones, I wouldn't have any trouble going out and dueling with that personally. It wouldn't keep me up at night. But I'm not going to do that with a KR strip, even though people tell me I can. And I'm certainly not going to do it with a budget NeoPixel blade.
Right.
So yeah, it's like I look at these things, and the first thing that I do when I get a saber in is invalidate the warranty all different ways. I get them in. If there's a screw, I'm going to unscrew that screw. If it's a NeoPixel blade, I'm going to be breaking that seal, pulling that strip out, and taking a look at it. I try to do some of that stuff so that people at home can still keep their warranties.
Right. Yeah. No. I love that about your videos. You're not afraid to like take things apart and tell people about what's inside there and show them the difference between different types of sabers and even different companies and manufacturers. It's a beautiful part of watching your videos.
How many younglings can you slay in a day? Says one of your commenters. Yeah. I haven't tackled that one specifically, but yeah, that said also though, I'm not one of these guys who goes out and beats on a post with it until it breaks. Because these are my sabers. I had to buy that, and I'm not going to go out and break it for you. The YouTube video will never make enough revenue to replace that saber. But yeah, I will tell you whether or not I would personally feel comfortable going out and hitting a tree with it, but I'm not going to go out and hit the tree.
Right. Now, let me ask you, as somebody who comes across a lot of sabers and does a lot of reviews, because I have debates with people all the time about, the LGTs, the THQ, the Yangquan, the Chinese sabers, essentially. A lot of them are very similar. A lot of times you can buy one company and not know when you're, if you're dealing with LGT or if you're dealing with YDD or, you know what I mean? They're very similar looking. Do you feel like there is a different market for say the Chinese sabers as opposed to, I guess, a typical American saber? Do you think it's all the same?
No, it's definitely different. Sometimes out of my video store, I sell lightsabers upon occasion. It was never really anything that a lot of people wanted lightsabers, but they wanted it to do all of the things, but they didn't want to pay the price tag that let it do all of the things.
Right.
Most popular sabers out of the store were always the Chinese ones because they do the most for the least amount of money.
Right. Right.
They don't do anything the best, but they do the most for the least
Right.
amount of money. And that's really kind of, I mean, that said, some of these Chinese manufacturers have some really nice sabers. They're just their higher end stuff. But like the
Right.
ones that are listed as the metal version 2 or something like that, those things, they're great. They're wonderful. And if you want like a saber that does the largest rounded amount of things for $100, you're not going to find that from an American maker. You
Right.
just, yeah. So they fill a niche. They fill a niche in the market, but people get them and they have them do all the things, and then they break them a little bit later down the road, and they figure out what they want a saber to do, and they get something else. So it's
Right.
great.
Right.
They're a great first saber. They're a great sort of all around saber. They're a wonderful gift saber, but yeah, it's definitely they have their fans, but the fans of the Chinese sabers are not quite so diehard. I wear a shirt with my company's logo on it, and if you say anything bad about the company that I like, I'm going to trash talk you on the internet until
Right.
you pass out. You don't
Right.
get people for like LGT too often.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, Fire Sabers and Crimson Dawn seems to, of all the different LGT companies, they seem to be the ones that are most popular with loyal customers. I don't know if they'll fight you in the street over it, but
Some of the Crimson Dawn people might, but yeah, but a lot of that is also where the people who sell the Chinese sabers differentiate themselves is in the customer service and the other things that they offer. And
Mm,
so, like Crimson Dawn and Fire Sabers, they bring a lot to the table that isn't just the saber stock that they have. So while they may be dealing with the same saber stock as some other people, um, they'll package it together differently. They'll provide you different levels of customer service. They've got communities associated with them. So yeah, the lightsaber world is a pretty. I mean, anybody who's watching this video is probably at least knee deep in it already. But
right.
the lightsaber world is a many headed hydra.
Right. Now, do you have people ask you like, well, if I could get all this stuff for $100, why would I spend, 300 or 400 on an American made saber? Do you feel there's a difference for that money?
Oh yeah, yeah, there definitely is. A lot of the craftsmanship, the quality of metal, the quality of the install, and some of the customer service elements. When you start looking at paying more for a saber,
Right.
there's definitely a reason why you're paying more in a lot of cases. I mean, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're just paying more so that for no real good reason because the asking price was more.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I by saying I've gotten again that lightning rod of hate a few times by saying that Vader's Vault is not the most awesome thing since sliced bread, but they do
Right.
make great sabers, and the
Right.
craftsmanship is wonderful, and the way that they fit together is awesome, and the install is great, and they're
Right.
super expensive, and that's the reason why because you're not getting something off an assembly line. You're getting something that somebody's sitting there with all the clamps and the soldering iron and putting together and twisting and polishing and um,
Right.
yeah, whether or not that difference in price is worth it to you, whether you want to wait it takes like 7 months to get one of those things.
Wow.
So whether you want to wait 7 months and spend $700 or whether you want to get something in 2 day shipping on Amazon for 100.
Right. 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 The, Zachary was saying Fire Saber loyalists here, and I'll meet any Crimson Dawn fan in an alley.
I
I
saw
think
one
we
of
I
your
think we just started a fight between the two groups.
Well, that's what we're here for, to sow dissension and discord. Yeah, I saw another one here. Are you suggesting my $40 Disney store in mall saber can't kick ass? Yeah, you know, strangely enough, there is like there is a loyal fan base for the Disney sabers. I actually just started making these guys right here.
Oh yeah.
There we go. So these are my version of Kyber crystals. And
Right.
so instead of just doing a Kyber crystal, I'm going to do a Kyber crystal with tentacles and Enochian on it.
Oh, I see the etching.
Yeah. Or here's one. This is my world tree or world seed. It's got
Oh,
runes on it. You probably can't
oh, I
really
see him
see the
now.
rune.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
but but those fit in the Galaxy's Edge sabers, the Savvy sabers.
Oh, okay.
And with a little bit of modification, they also fit in my holocrons.
Oh, wow.
There we go. So
yeah, there's a whole group for that, and they even know. I mean, like, I really thought when the Disney Sabers came out, a lot of the people were worried. I was like, dude, this is only going to help us, because when people, take these out and try to fight with them, they're going to realize they're not combat worthy. And it did to some degree, but I found surprisingly that even within the saber community, even within people that know the difference between a high quality saber and something that's, maybe more of a toy, they're still loyal to that community. They love especially collecting those little Kyber crystals.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many little companies now that make different colors. I don't even know what they do.
Yeah, well, the Kyber crystals, you stick an RFID chip in it and you program it for the voices and the color and all that wonderful stuff. But yeah, there's a whole market or a whole subculture for just these things. I mean, I love my Savvy Saber.
Right.
The sound quality on it is just terrible, and the motion detection is awful. But I kind of just love this sort of nerdy pop a crystal in and it glows. And then you take that crystal out and put it in your holocron and it glows and talks. And there's just a geek out quality to that. I mean, I've got you can 3D print pieces. I 3D printed a Black Panther sleeve that was a free model off of Thingiverse for my Savvy Saber. And then I sent the blade to Gary Ripper because the blades suck.
Yeah.
And he took this crappy Galaxy's Edge blade and ripperized it for me. And so and I've got one of my custom crystals sitting in the thing that I've programmed for Snoke, because if you could program yourself, then why not? But
that was actually, there's a question down there that actually Phoenix just asked. She asked, with your crystals, do they have RF chips in them? Or
they can.
It says they fit into Savvy one. Does that mean that they have chips?
Yep. Yeah, some people want to buy them as displays, in which case they're cheaper and they don't have chips. If people want them chipped, they just select it from a drop down and I'll put a chip in it.
So you can actually use them.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can pop it in a Savvy Saber. You can pop it in one of the holocrons and get the voice.
Oh my God. See, that's a great idea. Look at Kevin. Kevin says Black Panther Saber. So there's another question. Do you do crossovers?
Yes.
Crossover Kyber crystals.
Well, yeah. I mean, I showed you my this is my Cthulhu one with the tentacles and the Enoki
in
there.
The Cthulhu. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I showed you the Norse one.
But those are actually chipped as well?
These are not chipped yet.
Okay.
If they get chipped, you'll see a little dull spot right there. But yeah, I also have this one's got Dracarys printed on the side and a dragon on it. So this is the Mother of Dragons tier.
Right.
So I've got a Game of Thrones one. I've got a little unicorn horn too that fits in a Savvy crystal.
Right.
But
wow. Okay.
Strangely enough, you know that there are unicorns in Star Wars canon or Star Wars Legends. That they exist. There is a unicorn. I
did not know that.
Yeah, you can look it up. It's completely stupid. It was on one of the droids or Ewoks cartoons or something like that. Dumbest thing ever. Star Wars unicorn. So I figured if there's a Star Wars unicorn, I'm gonna say that we hunted them and made little Kyber crystals out of their magic horns.
Oh, that's so sad. All right, so James, we are getting ready to come to the end of our segment now. Like 40 minutes runs fast, but I want to ask you: is there anything you want to let people know about? Anything you have coming up here in the near future? The next 6 months or a year that you want people to know about? And also, if you could tell people where they could find you if they would like to commission you for a holocron. Maybe they want to find out more about your YouTube channel. Give them all the information, man.
All the deets. Yeah. So things coming up, well, just more of the same. I don't think I've ever stopped coming out with new things in one way or the other. I'm either working on a new cosplay, or I'm designing a new holocron, or I'm doing a new review. Somebody mentioned that they demand pictures of the Black Panther one. I actually already shot the review where I review that ripperized blade that has the Black Panther in it one. So in the next couple of days here, that's going to be uploaded. So the pictures will exist. But yeah, if you want to ever check out what I do, you can find me on Facebook as Darth Cephalus, and Cephalus is CH. Um, it's like cephalopod, or CEPH, sorry. CEPH, like cephalopod, like an octopus. It's a
Right,
Cthulhu
right,
crossover reference. So anyhow,
right.
you can find me on Facebook as Darth Cephalus. You can find me on YouTube as Darth Cephalus. If you just search Darth Cephalus on Google, you're going to find all kinds of me. I'm all over the internet under that. If you're looking on Etsy, just search for DC Holocrons, or really just type Holocrons into Etsy. And most of what you find is going to be me. I offer like 50 some odd designs, and nobody else does that. So you're going to find mostly me. So I'm really not that hard to find. As a matter of fact, I exist on just about every lightsaber forum somewhere. I fought like crazy on most of the lightsaber forums to get flow arts sections in groups of people who kept saying, "You're just spinning around a lightsaber. That's not combat viable." I'm like, doesn't matter.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, I'm on the forums. I'm on Facebook. The things I'm not on. I have an Instagram account, but I have never been able to figure out the point of Instagram. I guess I'm just too old for Instagram. So I put together an account and I have some followers, but I never put anything there because I don't understand Instagram. And,
Right,
and TikTok, I have not jumped into the wild and wonderful world of TikTok. That may happen. But
right.
other social media platforms, I'm on those. Just look up Darth Cephalus really anywhere, and you'll find some version of me.
Beautiful. And for Zachary and Steven who were interested in your holocrons, just check out, like you said, just Google Darth Cephalus and you will find him all over.
Yeah,
And if for
specifically.
some reason you can't reach him there, you can reach him through us here. He is, even though you don't get to see this man's beautiful face on camera every week, he is hard behind the scenes, working hard to find the Christian Castros and all the other flow artists that you bring to us. And I love that you're doing it's not just the same thing, right? So next week we're gonna have the glow one that I didn't work out 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago, but I
light
like that the
painting.
videos are for right. All right, that's your video as well.
Yeah, light painting. It's another wonderful part of the world of flow arts. But yeah, for the holocrons, actually, best to look up DC holocrons all together, one word.
All right, DC holocrons. Yeah. Zach says TikTok would be a great way to show off some of your films. A lot of the other flow artists, I think Christian Castro, Matt Torres, I believe, is another one that does a lot of TikTok videos. So there's God, I'm so bad with the names right now, but there's several people that you've introduced us
Mm.
to that I've seen,
Oh yeah,
do
people
their
are all
TikTok.
over the TikTok, are all over TikTok. The TikTok. See, this is what a 40-some-odd-year-old man sounds like talking about TikTok. It's the
Them
TikTok.
kids are all over
Get
the
off my
TikToks.
lawn. But yeah, so I recognize that there's value there. I just haven't figured out. I haven't devoted the time to investigating the wonderful world of TikTok. I'm sure it'll happen. But yeah,
Right.
Instagram, it's one of those, like, you don't need to see pictures of me. I can't really give you useful content on Instagram, so I don't really understand don't really understand that concept as well. But YouTube, Facebook, I'm
Got it handled.
fluent in those. They get the job done.
Right. Well, Mr. James, I want to thank you for being on with us tonight. I want to thank you for bringing us fantastic videos every single week. You are a complete asset to the Saber community in general, and I feel very fortunate to know you personally.
Well, thank you. That was all.
Thank you,
Vows.
sir. You have yourself a beautiful evening, and we will see you on video next week. We'll see you do your saber or your light painting.
Yeah.
All right, take it easy. Okay, my friends, that was James Kyser, aka Darth Cephalus. He is the producer of our flow segment, and as you can see, he does a million things. Zachary, we need to talk. I want to talk about your fan film that you got going there. And I know Steven said he was looking for a Mara Jade. If you message me on the Kyber Cave personal message, I'll talk to you about those and make sure that you guys get exactly what you needed. But yeah, especially with the fan films too, if you're depending on what part of the country you are in, we may know people in different parts of the country and be able to get you people that would be able to be background or do saber dueling for you in your videos. So we try to keep it a pretty tight-knit community here. Next week, make sure to tune in. We are here every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. That is Kyber K presents Saber Rattle. Pretty soon, we're going to have some other videos coming up. So also check for, this is what a stormtrooper looks like without a helmet. We'll have some other shows coming up. We had a build show actually with Dawn. Dawn is the saber tech for Kyber Cave. We did a helmet build show, and I think we're going to have some more of those. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Peace out, Kyber Cave family.